and 20. Hello, everybody. Coach, every time you do that, I get giddy like a little kid. It is so cute to me. I do not know. I'm always shocked. Like, I don't know. It's just a countdown, y'all. That's how simple life is right now.
Right? I got excited. I'm like, ooh, this is big time.
Y'all,
Sheri, I felt the same way. I was like, the first time she did it, I was eating right, before we came on camera, and I just stopped, and I was just like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, I couldn't even put the food in my mouth, and I'm like, oh my God, I got 10 seconds. I gotta hurry up, put the food away. But it's just the neatest thing, right? For something, it's so simple, but it's the neatest thing, and I get so captivated every time.
Which one of you was still counting down? 10, 5. Oh, Lord.
I'm like the 5-year-old in the building. I'm like, oh no, God, look at all the beautiful lights. Look at it. You see. It's like fireworks. It's like, girls, a countdown. Calm down.
Oh my
God. So welcome everybody to the Coach's Corner with the amazing Coach Cotton, myself, Coach Hadassah. And listen, oh my gosh, you already see who we have in the building. None other than the great, Sheri Timmons. Oh my gosh, we're excited.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm trying not to be like overly excited since I'm on camera, and they were like, gosh, she's geeking out. Thank you for having me.
Yes,
we are wigging out because this is a special treat.
It is, and we thank you for being on the show. Okay. It was last minute, right? And you said, oh yes, I could do it. I was like, yay, because I was like, I'm hoping she can do it today, but if not, maybe we'll schedule it for next week or something like that. But we thank you. We thank you so much because time is very valuable. It is, and especially
the market's closed, so we are right.
Oh well, right. Oh my gosh. So how about I was sitting here, me and my husband, we were eating, and so we were waiting to go in, right? And so I was about to open my MetaTrader, and I said, wait. I said, it's Friday, right? He said, yeah, it's Friday. I said, oh, it's Friday. The markets are closed.
It don't feel the same anymore, right?
That's totally different.
Yes,
totally different. Usually you're like, yay, it's Friday. I'm like, oh, it's Friday.
Yeah.
And then Monday, I'm like, yay, it's Monday. Everybody else is like, it's Monday.
It's different. It
totally different.
Completely different. They looking at you like you crazy.
Yes. Yes. So, Sheri, tell us, how has life been?
You guys got some behind the scenes scoop, right? It's still I'm still processing, right? Because I still got to cook dinner. I still got to do laundry. I still got to log into work until I give them my retirement notice. Shh, we ain't telling nobody that.
Right.
But there's a side of me that knows everything is different, that is completely different. There's no going back, and no matter which way I turn and look, it's always going to be different, right? And so I still kind of feel like I'm on the outside looking in, because like I was sharing with you guys, I want to make sure that there are certain things in place so that I can enjoy what I just accomplished, right? And so because they weren't in place ahead of time, it's like, I know this is mine, but it's not mine yet. It's not mine till it's really mine, right? And so it's kind of like a tug of war. There's part of me, some days I wake up, I was like, I don't have to go to work. I don't have to wait. But then there's that logical side that kicks in. It's like, no, you have a plan. Just like we say, stick to our trading plan,
Stick to the
right? I have a plan. I have a plan. I got
Yes.
to stick to the plan.
Right.
So some days I'm great, and other days I'm like, golly, man, what am I going to do? So
Yes.
just
Yes.
wait. You guys will see the pictures from across the pond somewhere. Hold on, they're coming.
Right.
They coming. Right.
Coming.
And you know,
So
I
I
thought about
cannot wait.
something. I thought about something earlier. You know, because the money is circulating in the you know, the PPP, right? The PPP loan. I forgot, what does that even stand for? PPP.
that personal,
The
what is it? Something
pro-
personal loan for their
protective,
businesses.
yeah,
Yeah, supposed
personal
to help the small
protective something.
businesses.
Yeah.
Okay.
For some
So
people, stand for jail time. Be careful.
that
Yeah.
that part.
Just saying.
So, but the thing is, this is the reason why it just kind of that it popped up in my head, the PPP, and then purpose, pattern, and plan came up.
Nice.
And the reason why it did is because I've been trained that way since I was 16 in my ministerial class. You know, we say that Yahweh or God has a purpose, pattern, and plan of salvation.
Right.
And so
Right.
it's so many things in that training, in my ministerial training over the years, that when I look at Forex and everything that we learned, and the charts and the candlesticks and the patterns and the look, purpose, pattern, and plan, because we have to have that
Mm-hmm.
with trading. It is a spiritual work.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yes.
is spiritual. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you just said that, you know, it's like, oh, I don't have to go to work today because I could quit my job. You know, but you said, but I have a plan. Just like we have to stick with the plan, with our trading plan, when we trade. And it's so true, because our
Right.
Heavenly Father has a purpose, pattern, and plan for our salvation. And
Mm-hmm.
Forex is it, to be honest with you. It really is. That is the freedom in this day and time and age that we're in now, to free us from, because the slavery that we have now is not like it was prior. There's the
Right.
Mm-hmm.
same principle, but there's a different manifestation. So the manifestation of in this time is the jobs, because we don't have our time.
Right.
We don't. We can't get the time back either. Once it's
Mm-hmm.
gone,
Right.
it's gone. And
Yep.
so it was something that you mentioned about um
Just the
what
emotional
the
part of
right, the emotional,
earning.
yeah, that and
Oh
and
yeah.
having your time back, you know, having
Yeah.
your time where,
Right.
like, okay, well, what do I do in these days? You know, can you speak to
That.
that, like sharing that whole thing?
Ugh. So again,
Yes,
that's a
please.
double-sided coin, right? So I have a schedule because I'm still on my job, right?
Hmm.
And so that is, I think, right now what keeps me anchored. But it's giving me time to plan what my days are going to look like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just, I always hear people say, like, when they retired and then they wake up and they're like, what do I do? And they go through this slump because they don't have anything to do. They didn't plan for what their days were going to look like, right? And so they get to this point where they're like, well, I'll just go get another job because I don't know what else to do. Sherry Timmons ain't getting no other job. When I retire, I'm retired, right? If I say I'm going to work for myself, I'm going to work for myself. And I'm real big on, I don't like when people play on words, right? Like when I say I retired myself, I mean I retired myself. Not that I got a layoff notice and I just found something to do so I didn't have to go back. When I give my
Mm-hmm.
notice, all bills are paid. I don't have to go get another job, right? So that's what I was talking about in regards to the plan and making sure that I know that when I give them my paperwork, I'm not sitting there looking crazy
Right.
trying to figure out what I want to do. I already know, I already have a purpose, right? I've already been given the means to fulfill my purpose, and I have time to plan that purpose. If I get to that day where I don't have to wake up and go to work and I don't know what I'm doing, I've wasted time, right?
Wow.
Which
Right.
means I'm not teaching and reaching the people that I'm supposed to be doing. So I wasn't a good steward of the blessing that I was just given. So
Wow.
that's something that I don't want to say it's a struggle, right? Because blessings are not, they're not struggles. It's just having to grow and think in a different manner than what we're used to. And that's been something that I've had to put effort into it, because it doesn't take effort to know that the alarm goes off at 5:30. I get up and I do what I need to do and go to work, get done, come home, take care of the family, and just hit repeat the next day. Well, now where's my accountability, right? If I don't show up at work, I don't have a job. If I have a day or two and feel like I don't want to do anything, I'm off my plan. So I think that plan that you keep referring to and that we've all talked about is really, really imperative to have, or else you're just going to be wasting your time.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Wow.
That's phenomenal.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was so good just to share with people, because on this platform alone and how you just related that to your lifestyle and your livelihood, we got to follow a plan. If you don't have a strategy or a plan, then your purpose lies dormant, because what are you doing with it? How are you going to move forward? How are you going to progress? And so the fact that you shared with us that you still got to follow a plan, it may be a new plan coming soon, but there's still a strategy and a plan that you got to implement daily and repeat. You got to replicate that all the time, because there has to be something that's going to continue to hold you accountable and to progress you forward. And so I just appreciate even something as simple as that comment, because we don't realize that we can earn, whether it's on a day job or whether it's, through trading in the industry, we can earn and profit, but then what? What's next? You know what I'm saying? What's next after that? How do we deal with the emotional part? How do we deal with the impact that it may have on not just us, but our loved ones and the relationships, whether they be business or personal? How do we now cope with that? What do we do next? There are days, that, like you said, I don't want to get up. I don't want to do this, but I still have to. I got to put things in order. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to be the frivolous or the person who mismanages something that you have now been blessed with simply because you don't know how. This is your first time, and, doing this. And so we got to remember that it's the first. We don't have all the answers. So now we got to go out there and seek the right answer. We got to go ask someone who knows more than we know, right?
Right. And that's key. You got to ask, right?
Right. Ask. You got to ask.
Figure it out by yourself. Ask. Go find somebody that's been through it before, right? Because your circle, if they're your circle now, they haven't been through it before. They don't have an answer for you, right? And when it made me appreciate when people say being at the top is lonely. It's not even necessarily being at the top. It's being in a new space that's lonely, right? And you can be very prideful and be like, well, I got here. Okay, you got there. But again, now what, right? So the key is to go ask. You got to go seek, right? Because now there's knowledge that you have to be able to stay where you are and then progress forward, right? Because there's no point in getting there if you're not going to go anywhere else. So asking is vital to staying successful. Else you won't be successful very long. Yep.
Exactly. Now I have this question. How did you as a matter of fact, with the opportunity that we're in our academy, and were you with us before the inception? Okay. Great. Yep. So then in the other opportunity, how long was it before you came into that opportunity, or when, I should say?
So June was an anniversary, my 1-year anniversary for being in the Forex industry, right? So I started in that other opportunity in June.
Wow.
I'm so glad we're over here.
I'm like, what a difference a year! What a difference a year makes,
right? So you come into the industry, and I was mentioning to you guys, right? So I had not ever been in the Forex industry before, but I had been in network marketing before, right? So I was trying to sell all the lotions and potions and shakes that we always hear one of our co-founders, Megan, talk about, right? So when I came into this, and I was like, I don't have to sell anything, and I can make me some money. What you say, right? And so we know how that opportunity went, but that was a time for me to start studying, right, and start really learning things that were going to help me. And I learned in an unconventional way because The person that enrolled me strictly recruited. She did not care about trading. She couldn't even spell the website, right? So it was difficult because at that point in time, I was not interested in sharing. I only wanted to learn how to trade, right?
Wow.
I had a very specific need that I needed to meet, and I didn't want to sell anything. And so sometimes we don't understand or appreciate the way things unravel, right? But because we had that period there where we were just kind of floating around, that gave me time to really look and see and learn my way. And when this opportunity came around, um, again, we were talking about, the path being laid out for us, right? Had no idea who I was going to connect with or how I was going to connect with anybody. And that path was laid out as well. That's a whole nother episode. But it was a really good experience. And so when I got over here, I was able to start trading right away, right? Whereas over there, it was kind of here and there. And my first account was like $50. And when I say I acted a fool, like my team was winning the Super Bowl, I made 79 cents on my first trade, and I was one and done. I was
Right?
rich, right?
Yes.
I was rich.
Yes.
You couldn't tell
Yes.
me anything. And so to come over here and just have the resources that we have in the community. Oh my gosh. I mean, you guys already know, and in our family out
Yes.
there watching already know. It just makes the experience a whole lot richer, right? See what I did there? A whole lot richer. Woo!
Yes.
So it is, sometimes it's just hard to kind of sit back and think about where we were a year ago versus where we are now, right? Hey, kiddo. Got my little one in here. He's trying to figure out who's she talking to.
Hi, little
Right.
one.
What you doing?
You gonna say hi?
Hello.
Oh, he's back there hiding now. Now I want
Okay.
to So yeah, it's been a year. And I think we started in January over here.
Over
Yes.
here.
So yes.
Yes.
And so I thought I knew what I was doing, and we've talked about blown accounts before, right? Had a couple of those, got
Absolutely.
my feelings hurt, and kind of sat down for a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting beat up pretty bad. And then of course we have our amazing, as we know, King Pip and Aaron and King Nelson's out there as well. And just started like plugging into their sessions and sitting
Yeah.
at their feet and learning. And so what is this? This is July, May, maybe part of April, but really in May, I started picking up trading again, right? And everything
Right.
just went berserk in May. And when things really, really took off for me is when Biden was over in Europe. So whenever that trip was, that was when things really. So when we say watch the news, we mean
Nice.
watch the news, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
Wow.
yeah. So it
That
hasn't been that
is
long.
awesome.
Watch
Okay.
those charts.
Okay.
Watch those charts.
Watch those charts. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And we have a question, Sheri, and I'm gonna post it for but strong CBM, and she's on our YouTube. Thank you all for following us on YouTube and Facebook and any other platform that we're on the Coach's Corner. We are trying to migrate everyone over to the YouTube channel so we can be in one location that everybody just know that's where we'll be at. But he asked, I'm sorry, I would like to know what are some of Sheri's study resources? And that's a very good question because we had that as one of the questions or similar question for you, Sheri. So can you share just a little bit of your study resources and how you go about that plan?
Absolutely. Candlestick Bible, the Candlestick Bible. Read it. Don't just have it as a desk decoration.
Right.
Read it, right? And then we are just spoiled rotten with the resources that we have in our back office, right? And there's always things being added to the platform that we use in the company that we're a part of. So I stay in our back office, right? And even though we're trading, people think everything resides around trading. It does not, right? What's your self-development? What's that look like? For those of us that are building a team and building a business, what's that look like? And even if we're not building a team, we're still part of a team, right? So we have self-development courses in our back office. I'm in there all the time. And I'll tell you, being in corporate America, those are some courses that I know that when booked to go to are upwards of $1,000 to attend. And we get them as part of being a community. Why wouldn't we be back there, right?
Exactly.
So I spend a lot of time back there. Again, the Candlestick Bible. When our master traders tell us to read something, whatever it is, I'm reading it, right? Because they didn't become a master trader by sitting there just looking at a wall, right? They put time and they invested time in their knowledge. So when they tell us to go research something or to go study something, whatever it is, I'm running to go study it. But what I have primarily leaned on up to this point is the Candlestick Bible.
Nice.
Nice. And I want to add something too. I know you've probably read it or listened to it, but the book that they also recommended, Trading in the Zone.
So yeah, that's one of my favorites. You can listen to that over and over again. Well, just like anything that they really suggest to us, there's never just one time of going through something. Never.
Exactly.
Right. So what I trade like right now, even though my plan may not change, I change. Right.
Yes.
And so what I key in on might be something different than if I read it 30 days ago. Right.
Yes.
So all the stuff that they're telling us to go read, I have a plan. That's part of my plan. Okay, you read this quarter, come back again next quarter and read the same thing and see what you take away from it then. Like your learning should never stop. Don't just say I read it once and you're done.
Exactly.
There's different levels to our learning. So it's going to mean different things at different times.
That's
absolutely
true. And I know I've told my team, I said, listen to this book. Just like we say, go through the academy at least 3 times. Of course, go to study hall too. Go to study hall, but go through that academy at least 3 times. I tell my team the same thing about the Trading in the Zone. I'm like, listen to this book 3 times. And buy the hard copy so that you can, because I'm a hard copy person, and then I like to highlight and take notes and stuff like that. But just having that along with listening to the audio 3 times, because it really puts you in a great mindset and understanding the trader's mind and the psychology that you has to have. Because just like he said in the book, our minds, our brains aren't wired to think in probability. Before it was until we went into the education system, and then our brains were wired to think differently than in probabilities, because anything can happen. Even when we plan, I know I had a life plan, and then next thing you know, it was like, look, everything changed when I heard Spirit say, "You must homeschool." I was like, "Huh?" that wasn't my plan.
Right.
But now I see how that was in the bigger plan of things, because our XtreamFX Global Academy is what I used to homeschool my children while we were in the pandemic, because it was just crazy, right? And I'm like, listen, while I take a break, get into the academy. Right. And then of course we could see what happened with that. And it's like, oh, you're doing exceptionally well. Talk about my 16. Well, he's not 16. He was 16 when he started, but he's 17 now. But yeah, that's what happened. So like I said, now I see the bigger picture of why I was even given that, and how our youth need this. And you just see how, the creator were putting the pieces together with all of us in different places and different walks of life, and the things that we were going through or whatever, the challenges that we had, life flipped, turned upside down, and then next thing you know, we were all brought together and we fit like this. It's amazing how we just gel in this community, and we're only what, 7 months in.
Yeah, right.
That's
Can you
it.
imagine? Can you imagine what we'll be in another 7 months? And
Oh my gosh.
that's the part that's a blessing, right? That's the part that we need to share, right? Because
Yeah.
trading is amazing, but imagine if we would have had these resources at the same age as our kids, right?
Exactly.
Completely different. And so, like you said, there's a bigger picture. It's not just about us as adults learning the Forex market and learning how to trade. We are changing the trajectory of our children's lives in generations to
Yes.
come,
Right.
because now we have tools that we just didn't have before, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
for example, we have 6 kids over here. Our youngest is 13. So our 13 and our 15-year-old are like, I'll go to college if I want to. And when I
Exactly.
go
Mm-hmm.
to college, it'll be for something that I want to
I
do,
want to do.
right?
Right.
Whereas our older kids, and the same with me, it's like, hey, you're supposed to go to college, you're supposed to get a good job, you're supposed to do this, this, and this. And so that was their mindset. And they're looking at our younger kids like, how do they make more money
Mm-hmm.
than I do? And I did what I was supposed to do, and I'm grown. So
Right.
it
Right.
completely changes the game. And even for me, like I was mentioning, I was a mom at 19. I didn't go to college, I didn't get a degree. Um, I run circles around some of the best engineers that I know. I can do my
Right.
job, and I've proved
Yes.
that. However, people will use that I don't have a degree to limit my money, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So there's always some type of struggle. But now we walk into a place where we have resources and tools. There's no excuse. There's no excuse,
Yes.
right?
It's
Yes.
no excuse.
There's no limit. There's no cap on what we can do.
Mm-mm.
And that goes back to planning, right? What do you do every
Right.
Mm-hmm.
day? So you should be doing something in that back office every day. You should be taking some
Absolutely.
trades every day. For those of us that are parents or have some type of connections in our community, we should be reaching out and teaching somebody every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jacob Mickle always says, we always hear him say, if you don't share, you're being selfish, right?
Yes.
The first time I heard
Absolutely.
him say that, it changed the way that I see this, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
when
Yes.
we become more knowledgeable, when we get a blessing, when we get a gift, and Aaron says this in our class too, what's the point of a blessing if we're not going to use it to bless others, right?
Yes.
And so if we
Absolutely.
are not sharing, we are being selfish. There are too many people that need what we have. Way too many
Absolutely. That
Yes.
people.
was very well said. And I didn't think about, I just want to jump back just for a quick second about our children or our next generation who can go to college if they want to. And now, guess what? They know how to not have to go get student loans. They can pay
Yeah,
for their
yeah.
tuitions, right? Without the stress of owing money or becoming indebted to
Mm-hmm.
anybody. And I think it's just so refreshing to know that there is a program, there's a plan, there is an alternative, right? To the old traditional way that we've all grown accustomed to. And now we can just put that out of our minds and say, hey, there's a new way, right? There's some new sliced bread going on. And now our youth can just select, and that's what the wealthy have options. They have
Mm-hmm.
options, you guys. They don't have to settle. And I say we don't have to settle, right? Because now we can choose what we want to do, how we want to invest, where we want to invest, right? And with the teaching on this platform that's teaching us about real estate, ownership, that's teaching us how to do our taxes and do it the right way and do it in the name of business and just so on and so forth and getting the personal development. It's just a platform where you get soups all the way to nuts. You get the whole thing, right, you guys? And it's just amazing that Sheri, you can speak to that and not being greedy. You are sharing it. You're not being selfish because that's what we're called to do, right? Even the Bible commissions us. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to share the gospel. We're supposed to help someone else. And how can we do it if we just holding on or hoarding everything that we learn? Knowledge
Right.
is power, but applied knowledge is the real power. So we got to get out there and teach to reach someone else to help them get to a place of freedom. Because we all want the financial freedom, right? You guys, I don't know if you can agree with me,
I
but
know
we are all
it.
seeking legacy building, generational wealth, and financial freedom, like for real financial freedom. And how do we get there? Through ownership.
Right.
That was just my little piece. Well, that's my little piece, Sheri.
I like the word ownership, right? I love that. and we hear this all the time from our co-founders. This is a skill set nobody can ever take from us, right? Like
Exactly.
I can't get a layoff notice for a skill set that I've learned. That is empowering, right? That changes the way that I feel when I wake up every day. Nobody can come and take this away from me. There's what we all know. There's $8 trillion running through that market.
Yes.
I was at an event and one of the ladies asked me, "Why do you share so much? Aren't you afraid of losing money?" And I was like, "Baby, there's 100 of us in this room, 100 of us, and if we all made what I made last week, we're only taking about this much out of that market."
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
I don't want to go on a cruise by myself. I don't want to travel the world by myself. Like, come on, come with
I
me.
want somebody with me. Yes.
So, but that comes from the way that we are trained, right? In corporate America, I would not share my knowledge because that means I'm either training for somebody to get their promotion or I'm training to get walked out the door. And so
you're training your replacement.
So it takes people to understand the reason that we want to share so much is because we found something different, right? We have found something that it just doesn't make sense. If we kept it to ourselves, it's going to get wasted because there's just so much of it, right? So we have to change the way that we approach and change the way that we think, and remember that the people that we connect with, they're going to have time to change too. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'm reading these questions.
Yeah, I was going to say, Josh asked a question. Hey, Josh, he's one of our business partners, team members. He said, hey, I like fives. What 5 tips would you give for the beginner trader, Miss Sheri?
Ooh, no filter, right? No filter. My very first tip, and I look in the mirror and tell myself this: you're a student. That means you sit down and shut up. Listen, right?
Yes.
That's my very first tip. That's what I always say to myself. Like when I go into sessions, sit down and be quiet. I'm there as a student. It's my job to learn. And we always hear Megan say, note takers are the money makers, right? So you have to, so number one, show up consistently. You cannot be, you cannot have the expectation that you're going to do well in trading, but you show up to a session once a month. That's just not going to work, right? So be consistent, plug into our platform and study, right? Make sure whatever the resource is, you're being consistent. We all know that we better have a trading plan and a trading strategy, right? That's 2 and 3, they go kind of hand in hand. But I would say for a beginning trader, that's important, and they need to ask for help, right? And the reason is there are so many different strategies out there, and one is not always better than the other, but you will cause internal confusion trying to keep up with them all. And so you need to find somebody to really help you figure out which one best fits you, right? My 4th tip is find out what type of trader you are. People laugh at me when I say this, but I am a scalper. Like that's just who I am because I'm not a patient person, right? I'm always.
Yes, you are. You're patient.
I am patient with other people. I'm not patient with myself. I'm like, come on, you got this. Let's go. But I am not. I just, between work and 6 kids and a husband, and the assignment that I have with my purpose and wanting to go out and help as many people as I can, I always am looking for time, right? So I struggled in trying to put myself in a slot as a day trader, and I'm just like, oh, this is nails on a chalkboard. Oh, so find out what kind of trader you are. Get into the psychology of it. What's your personality? What's your time constraints? What are your goals? Like, what do you want out of this market? Because that's going to determine what type of trader you are. So know yourself well enough to be honest about what type of trader you are, right?
Yes. I like that.
My 5th tip is to never be afraid to say, I don't know yet, right? We often talk about the power of our words. So when we say, I don't know, that's just open-ended. I don't know. You're not telling yourself yet, which means you're not intending to go find out, right? So never be afraid to speak of what you don't know, but always give yourself the room to go and learn that, right? And going back to what Michelle, Coach Cotton said earlier, don't be afraid to ask for help. You're a beginner. Nobody expects you to know it all. We are learning a new language, right?
Yes.
So I say, like, I just got dropped off. What's those student programs where they just drop you off in the country and you just get immersed in that country's culture, right? This is a new language. We don't know it. For many of us, we don't know financial literacy, right? Which means we're looking at the Forex market thinking, what? If you're like me, when somebody said Forex, I'm like, I got stocks. What do I need Forex for? Thinking it's the same thing, right? So we don't know what we don't know. So those are my top 5. You can probably go another 10, right? But there's always something for us to learn. So just make sure that you're humble when you approach this. Because if you approach it from a place of pride and ego and I should be able to get this and I know this, we don't. That's why we're here to learn. So let's make sure we're learning.
Yes.
I love that. That's wonderful, Sheri. We are about 35 minutes in, and Sheri, we know that, look, you got a plan and a strategy for today and this week. So we want to just ask you one more question. Then you can end however you would like to end, whatever you want to share, because we know that people want to hear from you. They want to hear from a 7-figure trader. We all got our hands raised.
I want to hear from a 7-figure trader. That's, look, I'm trying to get like Sheri.
Oh my goodness.
Hello. And this is what we get.
See,
right. This is what we get on the platform.
Every single one of you. Yeah. I'm going to jump on this house for y'all, just like I did for myself. Y'all going to shake your head like, Lord, help her.
Absolutely. But I did want to just ask one more question. Okay. And that is, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what are your plans now? I know you said you haven't left your job. You're comfortable, you work from home, but now you have an alternative. What are your plans for the future? What is Miss Sheri Timmons doing? What is she making plans, to do with her trading? Of course, keep trading, right?
Absolutely. Like, I'm not retiring from trading. So my short-term goals, right? I was talking to some of the other family members that we have out there, right? Is really sitting down. And so one of the things that my husband and I did is wrote out our family plan, right? So we always learn about trading plan, but what's our family plan and what's our financial plan, right? And so I didn't grow up with money, right? We had that Kix box and that fabulous block cheese, right? So we didn't talk about finances. It just wasn't something that we were taught. And so that's my first plan, is to get financially literate, right? Because just because I'm trading and I'm making money doesn't mean that I know financial literacy.
Exactly.
So that's my first goal for myself, is to understand, which we're already being taught and the resources are being provided, right? How do I structure my business? What's that look like for me? What's that look like for my family? There are places that I want to visit, like my biggest thing, and I'm just waiting for the Lord to say, go out and do what you need to do. I cannot wait to drive through our community and identify churches that need roofs replaced, our ACs replaced, and to be able to walk in and say, hey, here you go. And then, just some other things that I want to do with college students. And we are a special needs family. And so our 13-year-old is he's amazing. And one of the things that he would like to do, that we're praying on and working out the details, is to have a foster home for kids with autism, right? Because they are one of the worst treated segments of children in the foster care. And absolutely, so it's something that we want to do. And of course, as women, right, women tug at my heart for so many reasons. And I think that sometimes we shy away from finances and we tend to lean too hard on our significant others, right, our spouses. And so I want to be one of those voices for women that says it's okay to know this, right? It takes stress off of our spouses when we step up and say, hey, I can help learn this. I can help do this together. And so women are really, really tugging in different reasons. Like, I've been a single mom. I've been, I've been divorced. I've been remarried. So there's different hats that I've worn. And so when I walk out my door and I see these women with those hats on, you can just hear them screaming for help, right?
Yes.
And so I think what a testament to our community that there are so many of us women in here that are succeeding and doing well, that we can now go back out and touch that community somehow.
Yes,
So those are some
absolutely.
of the short-term things. My splurge, like I said, I'm gonna be on vacation. Y'all not gonna be able to get me. Uh, so those are kind of the things that I want to do. Like we've never, when we got married, we already had 5 kids. So we didn't do a honeymoon, right? And some people are like, "What? That's something I want to do." Those are things that I want people. We had a
Nice.
training with Jacob Mickle last week where he said, "Dream big," right?
Dream
He said,
again.
in
Yes.
Yes.
order to live big, we have to dream big. So there's dreams that I've had that I've just been like, I got to go to work. I got to help pay the bills. I got to take care of the family. We can't do that, right? So I do want to have that honeymoon. I do want to have like a full-fledged, everybody attend family vacation. Those are other things, right? And people are like, oh, there's a little. No, those are really big. That's where you start building memories, right? That's where you start
Yes.
teaching your children that it's okay to live lives where you go on vacation and you unplug and you see places that you never thought you'd see. So those
Yes.
are just some of the things I want to do, and of course, trade. I'm real
Absolutely.
excited, real excited. I told you guys I smashed my last TP, right? And so just get better at that, right? Right?
Right.
Get better
Oh,
and keep growing. That's the other thing I want to do is just become a really good student so that I
Mhm.
can become a good teacher and share what we
Awesome.
all have here.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
Oh
is
my gosh.
that is so beautiful.
It's
That's beautiful.
mm.
Like you share, I'm looking in the comments. You got people saying they want to move in with you, girl. They want to
Nope. When the last child is out, I ain't got no spare room.
Sherry,
Listen.
Nope.
you're gonna have to look. You're gonna have to build a teaching center or something because you got people who
I
want to
told
sit
my
up
husband
under
we
you.
are
They
moving
trying to
to the
learn.
country with unmarked roads, no lights, no nothing. Y'all know. I would see you
Right.
at the corporate event. Hello, how you
Okay.
doing?
Right. Hey y'all, bye
So,
y'all.
the
Look,
city
see,
is
they
ruined it for
own
y'all. No, no. There's so many things. And just
you.
thank you guys. Again, I want to plant the seed that Jacob Mickle pours into us and all the co-founders really. Dream big and live big because what we're doing is going to send ripples through our economy. It really, really
Yes.
is. And to say that we're a part of that, that's one of the most humbling things, right? My husband sometimes will look at me and be like, "What are you looking at?" I was like, I just see I see all this stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we
Yes.
get to be a part of that. Like I've not ever been part of a company or a community or a platform
Yeah.
to where we're positioned to have a huge impact and to just play a big role in helping other people.
Yes.
That in itself is like everything we've all been through up to this point to know we get to turn around and help other people. Man, that's an
That's a blessing.
amazing feeling. Yeah, it
Yes.
really is.
Yes.
It
It is.
is. It
Yeah.
is. Oh
That's
my gosh.
wonderful, Sherry. I just want to say, and then I'm gonna let Coach close us out because this has been a phenomenal, phenomenal show, and I'm just so grateful that you took the time to come over here and share with us and to
Uh,
spend some time on the Coach's Corner. So I'm just so humbled that you said yes. Again, like
I'm
it was
humbled
last.
y'all asked. Thank you. Thank you. I was
When
like,
Coach texted me, I was like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Who
I'm
we
not gonna I was sitting
I
there,
was
I was
like,
like,
"We got
ooh, I get out of folding laundry, shoot, yeah.
Sherry."
It don't matter how much profit you make,
Absolutely.
the house still has to be cleaned, right?
Yes,
That
you
look
still
So
that part.
y'all stay with me. You're not gonna do nope. I got a show to do. Get out of here. Go.
right. I cannot do that. Look, you got a good excuse. Well, we're so happy to be able to get you out of some household responsibility.
Thank you, my sisters.
And
Thank you.
anytime you be like, look, I don't want to do laundry today. Can I be on the Coach Corner?
See, I'm gonna take you up.
Right,
Y'all
right,
gonna be
right.
like, here she
Listen,
goes again.
listen.
6
Look, all
people
you
is a
gotta
lot of
do,
laundry, y'all. Come on now.
hit
Right.
me up because I understand. Like you just echoed. I was like, oh my gosh, we really mirror. You already know that. You know,
Mhm.
look, I got
Yeah, we
7.
talk about it.
I'm
Yeah,
at
yeah.
home, child with a disability. And just
Wow.
wanting to have a wellness center. My prayer 20 plus years ago was that I didn't want to work for money. I wanted money to work for me, because I wanted to be a philanthropist and an investor.
Yes.
And I didn't know how it was going to happen or how I was going to do it or whatever, but I felt that in my spirit. And so I continued to write it down, pray, all of that good stuff, and then learn about wealth.
Yes.
Because that was the one thing I said, I know it's coming. I don't know
Mhm.
how and I don't know when, but I do know that I want to be ready for it when it does come, because I don't want to end up like the lottery people.
Yeah, so
You
excited.
know?
And that's the
Yes.
thing, is being ready for it, right? How
Yes.
many of us
Mhm.
are not? Because I know I wasn't. I was telling you guys, I was on the amazing Gina Rivers couch, and she was like, Sharon, like, what is today? What time is it?
But what time, right? What
Right.
time is it? What's
I
So
today?
don't know.
Right.
yeah,
Look,
you
look.
gotta be
What,
ready
who's
for
the
it,
president? What month are we?
girl. I'm telling you, it was I was a hot mess, right? And it's because I was not ready. Which again, we talked about that. So when we're talking about trading, we always talk about blown accounts and how that feels, and when we don't make the profit that we were expecting to make. We talk about some of the smaller wins, but I didn't think to ask anybody about the big wins, right? So
Right.
I was not ready for it. And in corporate America, I don't care what anybody says, as a woman, especially as a Black woman, you're not emotional. Period. You show
Right.
emotion, you lose, right? And so
Wow.
um, when I made my first seven figures, that was gone. Emotion, like, what is this? What's going on, right?
Right.
Um,
Wow.
and so part of me was beating myself up, like, quit crying, you wimp. You just made a bunch of money. What you crying for? Suck it up and go spend it, right? Like, and then there's another part of me that's like, no, you're gonna be broke by like them people that play the lotto, because you're gonna go out there and use this money, then you're gonna look a fool. People are like, Lord, you shouldn't have gave that to her. You know what I could have done. So you have all these things going on, and
Mhm.
people
Yes.
miss it and they don't get to repeat it because they weren't ready. They weren't ready,
Right.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So that has been a really big part of my process is, okay, I wasn't ready this time, but next time, best believe I'm gonna be ready. Even if I cry, at least I'm gonna have tissues ready. I'm gonna be ready some kind of way differently than I was this time, right?
Right.
So yeah, being ready is a big deal, y'all. It really, really is. Yep.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
amazing. Meta, we did have a question from Meta. Then she said if she's doing well in her live account, I mean her demo account, should she go to her live account? And she's been trading with King Pip, and she said in her demo she made 1,200. She said, "Do y'all think,
Ooh,
Sheri? Do you think she should move over to a live? Is she ready? Is she ready, Sheri?"
is she ready? So I will. This is how you know when you're ready. If you are afraid to go on your live, then you're not ready. You're not ready, right?
Wow, I
If
like that.
if you do well in your demo and you're comfortable in your demo and you're like, yeah, I got it, but then it comes time to get in your live and you're like, well, I don't know, you don't have no business in your live,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're like under one of the master traders, right? So stay there, right? Listen to all the knowledge he drops on you and everybody else, right? For those of us that sit in his training sessions and whatnot. But when you do go into your live, here's one thing I'm gonna say. Y'all quit playing in them demos and acting like you already rolling in money, right? And then when you get over in your live, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go in with the big lot size because of my demo. No, that's real money. So when you do get ready to go into your
Right.
live, make sure that you follow the plan. Get to that with the small lot size and start there and stay there and then build up, right? Um, and so you'll know when you're ready. I can't tell you when you're ready because my money isn't your money, right?
Right.
So you have to make sure that you are confident getting in those trades, right? And um, like I said, my first account was $50. My first profit was 79, and you would have thought I was already at seven figures because I was jumping on the couch
Right.
like like my team won the Super Bowl, just acting a straight fool. So make sure that you're not trading emotionally when you get into that live either, right? So all those run through all those questions. Like that's another thing I think we should come up as a community, right? What's our checklist, right? Are you emotionally ready to go trade live? Like ask yourself those questions, and if you can't say yes to those questions, stay out of your live. Don't rush again. That money's going to be there. That the money that is yours in the Forex market is already assigned to you. It is not going anywhere. It's not. It already has your name on it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
It
so
is
you'll know.
$8 trillion market. And that's the thing, a day. And that's the thing about it. Like I did the math on it being what, 7? It's about 7. How many people on the Earth planet? 7 billion?
8 billion people?
I forgot. I think it's 7 million. I think it's 7.
And remember, that money doesn't move. King Nelson points this out. That money doesn't move all at the same time. Right? So when I'm trading and the market's going versus when somebody else is trading, so I put myself in timeout, right? So I haven't been trading for part of this week. So I saw y'all. Did you see that dip? I was like, oh, okay, let me put my phone down because I have a plan and I have to stick to that plan, right? So the old me would have had FOMO, right? And would have rushed in. Can I still get into this trade? That's another thing. If you see the chats going berserk and you feel like you're missing out and you're in your demo and you're like, oh, I got to go get it. Sit your tail down.
You're not ready.
Right.
You're not ready.
Yeah.
So think about the questions. So top 3 questions before you hop in your live. Do you have your strategy? Do you have your trading plan? And where are you emotionally? There goes my fingers, right? Those are your top 3 questions. And if you don't have those answers, then no, you're not ready to go in your live. Get with King Pip or Aaron or one of the other trainers and help get your strategy and your plan together so that when you have your emotions in check, you can go in there and you can do what you need to do in your life. Right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Well, there you have it. There you have it. So everybody, right, that has been wanting to hear from, it's like, look, when Sheri speaks, everyone listens.
I'm humble. Right. You guys, what? I love you guys so much. I really do, because I enjoy being in the back of the room behind the curtain, right? Like peeking out, like, oh, we need water. Let me go get them some water. And so you guys are such an amazing place for me to be with you guys, right? And to grow and to just like really grow into what my purpose is and find my footing and find my voice, right? And you guys encourage and keep me motivated. So I'm just thankful that you guys even want to hear what I have to say. So yeah, because at home they're just like, whatever, Ma.
Look, aren't they all? Aren't they all?
Right. Feeling so underappreciated at home, like just underappreciated.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys, I am special.
Exactly.
Thanks that I'm special.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You're
like
welcome.
I said,
and thank you so
much
for coming on the Coach's Corner.
My pleasure.
We truly appreciate again your time, Coach. Go ahead, Coach.
No. I was just gonna say, close us out.
Yes, ma'am. Look, Sheri, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for the sharing of your knowledge and experiences, just helping us in this common unit, and those who may not be trading on this platform, and just having a great heart and spirit. You're just so humbled and such a joy to be around. Every time I see you, I'm like, what my hugs say, I just love being around your energy and vibe. So first and foremost, thank you so much. And just, giving back to the community, giving back to all those you share with, and just talking about more so than just the profiting side of it, the emotional side of it, how your life is going now, what has changed. We just appreciate you being transparent and sharing that with us today on the Coach's Corner. So we love you to life. Just for you, again, your time.
Back. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And so this look extreme, right? Again, this is the XtreamFX Global Academy platform where we have 6 and 7 figure traders, and we got black women trading over here, y'all. We got lady traders. Woo, woo, woo. Right? So we celebrate celebrate you, Sheri. We celebrate all of those who are learning, because it takes one to be teachable, right? So we thank all those in the common unit. And again, if you're learning on your own platform, to be teachable and willing to learn. We want you to get on your road to financial freedom. And this has been the Coach's Corner with the phenomenal, amazing, beautiful Coach Hadassah, myself, Coach Cotton. I have a very special guest, Miss Sheri T, who's trading in the market, who's making the market bow down to her, right? And so we love it, we love it, we love it. And the special announcement, you guys, I did say that we had a special announcement on Wednesday. The Coach's Corner will go down to 1 day a week, and that special day is Wednesday's Hump Day. So you will see us again on August the 4th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Coach's Corner, where we help you get to your next level. You guys go out and enjoy your weekend. Fun Friday on the Coach's Corner. Bye, everybody.